This is Today in Nursing Leadership, a podcast from the American Organization for Nursing Leadership. I'm Bill Klaproth. With me is Amy Luzier-Barrett, nursing education faculty at Geisinger School of Nursing, and Mindy Honey, CFPA program manager, Geisinger School of Nursing, as we discuss the Clinical Faculty and Preceptor Academy, or CFPA, and its role in addressing challenges in nursing education. Mindy and Amy, welcome.
Hi, Bill. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for having us.
You betcha. Mindy and Amy, thank you so much. It's nice to meet you, and looking forward to talking to you about this. Mindy, let me start with you. What trends or challenges in nursing education made this course necessary, and how does this course address faculty and preceptor shortages?
Sure, I'd be happy to talk about that. National data has indicated that there are thousands of qualified nursing candidates coming in, wanting to come into nursing schools that are unable to. And the reason for that a lot of times is because there's not enough clinical faculty or preceptors to be able to take those students into the clinical world within the hospital to provide that part of their education. So that has really caused an inability for those schools of nursing to expand their enrollment and continue to have that. And it really affects the clinical faculty, the clinical placements, and the training of the preceptors themselves due to this lack of the support of the learning. So the key contributor to the shortage is a limited availability of standardized evidence-based training for the nurses wishing to take on these roles. So many times people will step into the role and step out just as quickly because they don't feel like they're supported and they don't really understand what they're walking into and wanting to do. And just because you're a good practicing nurse and an expert in what you're doing doesn't mean that you're really good at educating others. So to lead, without the education provided, it really leads to inadequate preparation and high turnover rates of these clinical faculty and the preceptors. Inconsistent teaching quality. So one student might really get a great learning experience and another student might not get such a great learning experience. It also has reduced capacity to accept the students and decreases nurses who are working their job satisfaction. Mm-hmm. So causes in the long run has created a critical bottleneck that really is contributing to a cyclical dynamic of upstream and downstream issues, where upstream issues could be something like admissions capacity, and downstream is really about decreased number of nurses in the workforce, workforce readiness, retention, and satisfaction.
So what is being done to address this issue?
Sure. So HRSA actually decided to put out a grant in 2022 to help address these issues, which we were the recipients of. And the grant really was for 10 regions across the United States. And it was to build a innovative and scalable workforce solution for strengthening the clinical education workforce. Like I said, we're the Geisinger School of Nursing. We're the recipients for the Region 3. Region 3 includes Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, West Virginia, and Washington, D.C. So that's our region. So it's a pretty big region.
That's a big region.
And what we did was once we got the grant, we decided to work and collaborate with the Pennsylvania Nursing Workforce Coalition, who is our state workforce, and developed this CFPA program with the collaboration of a diverse group of advisory board members that were actually nurses from both clinical and academic institutions across the entire region, including the military. So that was pretty cool. To help develop the education. The CFPA provides an asynchronous, fully online, competency-based education, and it aligns with the AACN domains and competencies and the NLN core competencies. And we really wanted to focus on how can we get the education to the most people. And being that it's online and asynchronous, we do recognize that it provides a flexibility that other programs don't out there. Offering the preparation increases the qualified pool of the educators coming on and taking on these roles, which actually helps to decrease that bottleneck, allowing for more clinical instructors, clinical adjuncts, and preceptors to take on nursing students in the clinical environment, and their job satisfaction increases because they feel supported. So
Yeah, really comprehensive. A lot of work went into this, I can see, and you cover a lot of ground.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that is great. Amy, let me bring you in here. So can you walk us through the major components or modules in each course, and how long do the courses take to complete, and how flexible is the format for working nurses and the APPs?
Yeah, absolutely. So currently we have 2 courses. We have CFPA 101 and CFPA 201. Our 101 course is entitled Fundamentals for our clinical faculty and preceptors. And this course consists of 6 modules, and it takes about 10 hours to complete. When we look at the content for CFPA 101, it covers everything from basic strategies for teaching and learning. It helps the students to be able to provide professional communication, effective feedback, and it really helps to develop that preceptor faculty, development and help them move into that role. Our CFPA 201 is geared more towards our advanced practice professionals. So this is essentials for advanced practice folks. And so this course is a little different. There's only 4 modules, and it comprises of about 6 hours, or takes approximately 6 hours to complete. And with this course, the goal is to get our preceptors for those advanced practice folks ready to be able to precept these types of students. So it covers content related to how do we teach clinical workflows? How do we develop student, learning through evidence-based feedback? And how do we evaluate the skills of our advanced practice professionals? So it's a little bit different. But what's unique about both courses is that they cover things like how do you deal with diverse learning needs? How do you get to and meet the learner needs? How do you recognize and overcome things like generational differences, implicit bias, those sorts of themes. So it's pretty comprehensive, and it really helps to kind of level the playing field. And just like Mindy said, taking those expert practitioners or expert nurses and getting them ready to take on those roles as either clinical faculty or as a preceptor at the bedside.
So a lot of components to this. So then, Amy, how does this course support preceptors and clinical faculty from novice to seasoned clinical educators?
Right. So it helps these novice educators develop the skills and the confidence to be able to take on these roles. But even if you've already been in that role as a preceptor or clinical faculty, it's going to give you additional tools that you can kind of add to your repertoire when you're teaching these students. A lot of the universities and healthcare organizations in our area or in our region are using this as part of their orientation for people who are coming in to that role as clinical faculty. They're also requiring it as a requirement for hospital staff who are precepting students at the bedside. Just kind of like Mindy said, we want to make sure that everybody's getting the same education and the students are getting the same experiences, and they're good quality experiences.
Right. So Mindy, how does your product differ then from your competitors?
Sure. So a comprehensive market analysis was done on this, and what we found was that there are a very scarce amount of preceptor and clinical faculty educating programs out there, especially in the way that we were trying to do this to make it more accessible and available to those clinicians working full-time. Due to this, we really wanted to make sure that we had a strong foundation for those who would step into these roles and feel supported doing so. One of the things that sets us apart is the innovation that we have for the developed program. We, like I said, partnered with our nursing workforce, the Pennsylvania Nursing Workforce Coalition, who provided the development of that diverse work group that we used across HRSA Region 3. And every state, like I said before, has someone that was on the workforce group. That collaboration really brought forth a multidisciplinary group of leaders, and we really focused on not just the local issues to Pennsylvania, but really wanted to focus in on the broader issues across the state and across the region, where we can use this going out nationally as we're seeing similar issues, no matter where you are in the country regarding this. We are able to ground the education into an evidence-based practice kind of way, using those NLN core competencies and the AACN domains and competencies. And that was intentional in its design to support a high quality preceptor and clinical faculty development. The CFPA 101, which Amy spoke about previously, has a scenario-driven format where you meet several characters along the way, and you really connect and you find that those characters are relatable. The scenarios are very realistic, and you probably have experienced those scenarios in your experience while working as a nurse. Mm-hmm. So the real-life immersion, the engaging activities that help to allow the learners to actually grasp the concepts. Like Amy said, the implicit bias is probably my favorite part of it, because you don't realize the biases that you have until you're like, oh, okay, yes, all right, I didn't see that coming. So that's actually my favorite part of this program. And, how do you handle difficult situations and generational differences, right? Like, we see a lot of kids coming into the nursing profession nowadays, and they're not kids, they're young adults coming in, but their way of thinking and their way of doing things is a little bit different than how the older generations think and do things. So how do you handle a situation where you may be a little bit older and more experienced in your nursing career, and then taking on some of these nursing students who have a complete different experiences in their lifetime. So those are great conversations that you have within that program. And then the CFPA 201 for advanced practice professionals is inclusive of all advanced practice professionals. So that includes nurses and physicians associates. So that's one difference as well within our program for them. And we do recommend that anyone who wants to take on these advanced practice professionals in the clinical setting, that even doctors can take this program and gain knowledge from it, because how do you teach to an advanced practice provider when you're a doctor? You have a terminal degree, but that doesn't mean that you know how to teach these students coming through. So it's a really great opportunity. That one uses situational awareness and was designed specifically to be engaging to those terminal degree type people who want to take on these roles. Evidence-based, we actually have a comprehensive evaluation strategy. We use the Kirkpatrick's evaluation model, and the data that we're collecting through the REDCap surveys and analytics through Canvas Learning Management System is really allowing us to evaluate the learning that is being done within the use of the program. And then we have published one article already in the Journal for Nursing Workforce back in 2025, February. It's an online journal, so you can check it out there. It's called From Grant Proposal to Pilot Phase, the Development of a Clinical Faculty and Preceptor Academy. And we are currently looking at data, and additional publications are coming.
Absolutely. Well, it seems like including in the core competencies of any course, you talked about implicit bias, how to handle difficult situations, situational awareness. It just makes sense to teach these things as well. So I love hearing that.
And we want to create a safe environment for folks to learn. And that's really, kind of a key tenet of this program as well. Trying to make sure that they feel safe to learn, and
people feel or learn better, feel better when they know they're in a safe environment. So that really makes sense. Amy, let me ask you this. What long-term impact do you hope this course will have on clinical education?
So I think we would like to see this program mitigate the shortage in clinical faculty and preceptors. I think everybody right now is struggling with finding folks that are willing to take on these roles. And, if this program can help these folks feel more comfortable and able to take on these roles, I think that's going to really help the situation that we're in right now. I mean, Mindy did a great job describing, where we're at today with the bottleneck and the fact that, we just can't find people willing to take on those roles.
And Mindy, where do you see the CFPA going over the next 5 years?
Sure. We would love to see this go national. We would love to see statewide adoptions of the program, because we find that there's a lot of value to consistency in the education for the support of the people wanting to step into these roles, decreasing the bottleneck that's happening. And we also would like to continue to grow this academy. We would like to build additional refresher courses for what we currently already have. We would like to build some additional courses to help with some of the
professional development. We'd also like to do a CNE refresher course, like a prep course for folks that want to sit for the NLN clinical nurse educator certificate.
Yeah, so this academy is really, just at its early infancy stage, and we're looking to grow it and continue to see what the needs are out there.
Amy, big question. All right, here we go. How do you sign up for the courses, and are there continuing education credits available to users?
Absolutely. So that's a great question. Anybody who's interested in the program can actually use any of our internet browsers, and you just type in Clinical Faculty and Preceptor Academy. Our Geisinger School of Nursing webpage is the first one that pops up. We've tried it, so we can verify it's the very first link. It's going to take you to our Geisinger School of Nursing webpage, and we actually have 2 separate pages. So based on your interest, if you're interested in CFPA 101, you're going to go ahead and click on that page and navigate there, and it will give you the prompts to be able to register for the course. Same thing with CFPA 201. As far as continuing education credits, yes, there are continuing education credits associated with both of these courses. For CFPA 101, learners can get 10 CEUs, and for 201, they're eligible for 6 CEUs.
Okay, check and check. I like it. Well, Mindy and Amy, thank you so much for stopping by today. It's been great talking with you. Thank you.
You as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bill.
You're welcome. Once again, that is Amy Luzier-Barrett and Mindy Honey. And if you found this podcast helpful, please share it on your social channels and check out the full podcast library for topics of interest to you at aonl.org/nursing-leadership-podcast. This is Today in Nursing Leadership. Thanks for listening.